Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Acre Talk podcast.
Welcome, welcome.
I'm Dale.
I am Nana, or Lisa.
Yep. So we're a husband and wife from Kansas, a very small acreage farm, homestead, however you want to define it, from here in Kansas. We have, imagine it or not, but we have right at 9 acres. I grew up around larger farming. In fact, my folks still farm commercially very large. This is Lisa and I's farm. We purchased it, 5 years ago now, or 6 years ago?
6 years ago.
6 years ago. So we're doing our best to make a very small 9 acres, support our family, both through food, through market gardening, market proteins like farm-raised pork and poultry and eggs. We have raised some quail, but those mainly have been for us. We'd like to get a little larger into that. We've also done some beef for freezer beef or butcher beef. So we're trying to do everything to try to make a small farm profitable. Like I said, we are in extreme rural Kansas.
Yes, we are.
But our closest town is about 6 miles from us, with a population of about 200 people. So we are very rural life. Our family is a blended family.
Yep.
We both come from prior marriages before we got together. Both of us brought a child to the relationship, and then we had one together, so that makes us have 3 kids. We've got a granddaughter now, and we've got another grandchild on the way.
Yes.
So most of our time is spent either working our regular jobs in town, working here on our farm, or focused on our kids and grandkids. All of our kiddos are pretty much grown now. Last one's still in college, still lives with us. The other 2 are married and out of the house. So we're also kind of dealing with that empty nest thing here.
Yeah, because he's here, but he's not.
Exactly. So, of course, having an adult child, if you've ever been in that situation, you know, we have rules that he has to live by here, because it is still our house, but at the same time, he is enough of an adult that, you know,
can make his own
he's pretty much just doing that out of respect for us.
Yeah.
But so why did we decide to start making a podcast?
I don't know. Why did we decide?
For those of you who aren't watching a video, Nana just looked all around the room like, I don't know, because I kind of sprung this on her.
Washing machine just got done.
I kind of sprung this on Nana. We have talked about podcasts before.
Yeah, we've talked about it, but I didn't know that you was serious about it. So
she didn't realize I was serious. But
now I know.
The whole idea with the podcast is a lot of us are working, so we can't watch video all the time. And if you're unaware, we do have a YouTube channel called 9 Acre Family Farms. We are what I would still consider a small channel. Others that are just starting consider a bigger channel. We have close to 2,000 subscribers.
Yep. I have my own channel. It's Nana 9 Acres. It's very small. I have about, what did I say? About
150 subscribers or so.
And very few videos out.
Yep.
I mainly just started mine just because I was listening to music and watching videos, and then people are like, you want to do collaborations? So I started, and then I started doing some shorts and
Yeah.
yeah.
So we've kind of pushed Nana along with having a channel. She was a very staunch supporter of others, along with our channel.
I'm still a big supporter of our channel and other channels.
She does a lot of watching, a lot of supporting of other channels, and we were kind of forcing her along.
Yeah, I'm not big on being in the spotlight.
So that's one reason why I thought the podcast would be a really good thing for both of us, because it's not really focused on the video. It's actually focused on listening to it. We like doing YouTube as a family. We like our channel. We don't call them subscribers. We call them family members because they truly are family members to us.
Yes, and we have met some of the most amazing people through it.
The avenues that it is open for friendship and for connections is just amazing. And the community that we've established through YouTube is amazing. But, of course, a podcast, this is not about YouTube, although that this is being uploaded on YouTube Music.
But anyways.
So what do we really want to accomplish with the podcast? Well, we want to be able to inform people about what it's like running a small market farm or small market gardening, the ins and outs of retailing items from your farm, what kind of profitability is in there, some ideas on money makers. We're going to plan on doing some interviews with other small farms, some farm to table, other organizations and others that bring stuff like that. We have a lot of connections and a lot of friends in that world. Along with, I can start mixing in some of the larger commercial operations, what they run into, and I can talk extensively about that.
And you never know, if there's something crazy going on in the world, we might get off on talking about that. You never know.
We're not going to be real political on our channel because everyone is entitled to their opinion.
Right.
My opinion might not match up with your opinion, or it might be dead in line with it. And unless this world just really gets crazy, we're not going to really think about that. We do talk on the channel. I do have devotionals that come out, and weekly I do a Christian devotional over a verse or two. We are very faith-based here.
Yep, we are.
So if that's your kind of thing, if you're a Christian believer, then you probably found the right place to be.
On the other hand, we're not going to cram it down your throat.
Exactly.
But
it's not for me to preach it.
We will just bring to you what we believe.
Yep. And
if you don't agree with us, that's fine.
But we will spend some time talking about things like that. So, one of our retail markets that we use with our small market, and we will go more extensively into this into episode 2, is through Farmers Market, Facebook Marketplace, things along that line. Facebook pages, our website, things along that line. We'll get more extensive into that into episode 2. But really what today's episode is about is just so that you guys could get to know us better, be able to learn the ins and outs about us. So I'm going to start off talking about my background. I was born here in very rural Missouri, western side of Missouri. Moved to southeastern Kansas. Born on a very big ranch. My dad did a lot of ranch work. I grew up around ranch work and horses and lots of commercial cattle operations. We're not talking about feedlots. We're talking cow-calf operations where we would calve out heifers and stuff like that. And then ultimately I ended up in Kansas because my grandfather had passed away and we inherited the farm. My mom actually inherited the family farm. So I spent the majority of my childhood working cattle, raising cattle, learning pasture management, farming, row cropping, a lot of raising corn and soybeans and wheat and stuff like that, and a lot of time in the hayfield. My high school career, I did mostly a lot of FFA, 4-H. I was really into showing, really into livestock judging, anything to do with FFA contests, ag mech, entomology, speech, all that kind of stuff. I'm forever indebted to the FFA for all those skills that they taught me throughout that. And in fact, it took me to college on a scholarship that way, which off the rails there later, and then led me down the pathway for pretty much my whole adult life I've spent in the ag equipment business. So
yep.
Pretty much every brand out there, I have either been a parts man or parts manager, a service technician, a service manager, a salesman, all the above. I kind of know that world inside and out. And ultimately that led to my now career, which I teach technicians, or people who are going to become technicians at those dealerships. That's my daily job now. So to say that I'm involved in agriculture is probably an understatement. I know
Right.
I know agricultural
Inside out.
inside and out about any facet you want to talk about. So I'm pretty much an open book when it comes to that. And I either have an opinion, facts, a lot of factual evidence, or firsthand knowledge on most any of those things. Now, Nana, what about you?
I was born and raised a Kansas girl. And pretty much this southeast corner of Kansas, I haven't got out of it.
Yeah.
I grew up in a small town. What would you say it had? Probably 200-300 people in it.
Yeah, I would say 200 or 300.
Yeah. Until about my 7th grade year, and well, my parents owned a bar, and so I spent most of my time babysitting children that people would bring into the bar. So they'd send them to the house, so I would babysit their kids. Then about my 7th grade year, we moved, my parents sold the bar finally, and we moved out to a little farm. I call it a little farm. We just rented this place, and from there we raised hogs and some beef for our own personal use. I did not go to college. I pretty much in childcare ever since I was 5 years old. Pretty much. I got out of high school, and went to daycare, and I've worked at many daycares, and which brings me to now, and I have been at my current job at our local school, working as a cook.
She's a lunchroom. She's a lunchroom lady, y'all.
I've been there for 10 years now, so not a very exciting life.
Of course, raised our kids and spending time.
I had my daughter when I was 20 years old, and then I think I was 27 when we had our son.
Mm-hmm.
But
so we've it's kind of a little bit of our background, and when we got together, things really changed. We started off, we lived at a place that I traded labor either on a farm, either working on things, row crop and hay in, checking and feeding cattle, and then working our in-town jobs. And then we used to raise show goats for a while, boar cross, show goats, sold several show goats throughout the years.
Yes.
Happiest day of our lives is the day that the trailer left out with all those goats loaded up.
We love
baby goats and all that, but man, it was a ton of work, and
it was really rough the last year we had them, because
We had a freak
It was a bad
snowstorm.
snowstorm, and every single one of them wanted a kid that day. And Dale was gone on a trip, on a work trip, and we both had to work. So I get home, and 5 of the 8 nannies we had their babies.
We had more than 8 nannies at that time.
But
we had 8 that were due to kid.
And out of all the babies we had, I mean, gosh, we only ended up with 1.
Yeah. Yep, we only ended up with 1 kid out of that crop, which pretty much was a complete failure.
Yeah.
Out of that.
It was bad.
That year, our kids kind of got into showing cattle. Our oldest, she really liked the cattle show thing. We couldn't play in that world because it was a very expensive world.
That was her favorite, though.
We were not financially able to do that.
Yeah.
And then we got into our kids. I kind of refocused our kids and got them focused on showing pigs. And ultimately, we probably should have stuck with showing beef because the pig deal turned into being a real big, expensive deal as far as...
Just as expensive as the
when we talked that we showed animals or showed pigs, we didn't raise a pig to take to the county fair once a year.
No, they got drug all over the United States. We drug them
all over the United States. In fact, we put about 280,000 miles on a pickup. Literally, I bought the truck with 86,000 miles on it. And when we got rid of it, it had over 305,000 miles. So we literally wore out a pickup, traveling all over the country, showing pigs, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, our kids had great experiences. We had great experiences. We have lifelong friends and people all over the nation that now we know because of it. Yes. We kind of get a little sad every year when that swine series kicks back up and the shows start that we're not involved with it anymore. But I tell you what, at the end of the year, when you look how much we've spent, I'm pretty excited that it's over.
Yeah.
We didn't realize
is very costly.
We didn't realize how much money we were spending in that world. But through that, and the reason why I started talking and brought up that is, that's kind of how our market farm to table business started up. Was, we have these show pigs left over and didn't really have any other need for them. Yes, we were butchering them for ourselves, but we had way more than what we needed. So we started retailing freezer pork, freezer camp pork, butcher hogs, whatever way you want to say about it. But
and we cannot keep enough hogs.
Yeah, we discovered there was a very large market for very overly loved pork.
And every hog that comes, even though we're not showing, every hog that comes off of here is spoiled.
Is spoiled rotten. We are the weird people. We name every one of them.
Yep.
They know their names. We take very good care of them. That being said, we don't pump them full of a bunch of medicine or steroids or anything like that. We're going to feed them an all natural feed. Just like you and me, the only time they'll ever get any kind of a doctor in is if they
get sick.
A problem or get sick that they need doctored.
Yeah.
So that kind of started into the business, how we started. And of course, we transferred that over here to the 9 acres. We really weren't into the chickens and stuff like that until we moved to the 9 acres. In fact, tidbit of information, I was scared to death of birds. When we got our first set of chickens, I almost had a meltdown just because I didn't know nothing about them. I didn't have them growing up. I didn't know anything about them.
When that dreaded time that the whole world shut down, we're sitting there, he's like, let's get some chickens. And I'm like, are you feeling okay?
And actually, my friend talked me into getting chickens because he was into raising weird breed chickens, like these odd breeds. Yeah. And he said that I needed to get into this really odd breed that the whole chicken was, the skin was black, their feathers were black, their tongue was black. They're called an AM Samani, or some people call them a goth chicken.
Yeah.
So we started off our actual chicken flock with...
And we kind of fell into that nicely because
Yeah.
this individual was wanting to get out of the business of selling them, and we got it at a really good price.
We got into a really good price, and we kind of started off with really good luck. We
sold them at a really good price too.
We started off with a whopping 4 hens and 1 rooster.
Yep.
All AM Samanis, and immediately
they're really cool birds.
I started hatching eggs, and we were selling day-old chicks, and for kind of a premium price.
But a fun fact: if you're wanting a bird that produces eggs, don't get an AM Samani.
Don't get an AM Samani.
They are not good layers.
They're not a good layer. They lay about 1 egg every 2 to 3 days.
If that.
If that. Yeah. They're not a very good egg producer. And they're not really good. They're not real
hardy.
Bird.
They're not real meaty. Yeah.
They're not really a hardy bird. But
they're just really pretty. They're ornamental,
really
pretty much.
Yep. They're kind of cool. So that kind of started our chicken flock with that. And then very soon after, we added 25 what I call production red, or red.
Well, before that, we got
links. I got blue copper Moran chicks, which those chicks were going to be 6 months before they would ever be big enough to produce anything. So that was our second breed. So we were growing those out, and we got what did we get, 20 or 25 of the. It was 25 of those.
Yeah.
We got 25 of those. So we had 25 of these chicks that we're raising up, and we actually raised them on pasture, like a Cornish cross in a chicken tractor. And then we got, like I say, we got 20 production red, or red sex links that were a big time egg producer.
Yep, they were old enough to produce eggs when we got them.
So when we went from having little to no eggs at all to having 20 roughly eggs a day, we pretty quick, we were eyeball deep in eggs around here because we didn't eat that many eggs. So we started selling eggs,
cooking with eggs, doing more stuff with them.
And so that kind of become another little side hustle that we did.
Yep.
But so that's definitely always a facet that I think will be around here on the 9 acres is going to be some kind of chickens or poultry. I mean, chickens are to me, they are the gateway into homesteading or farming. But truly, the other thing that we started raising, quail, to me, definitely, they are the gateway because they're very small, ornamental, little birds. They're 8 weeks to meat, 8 weeks to egg production, eat not a whole lot of feed, don't take up a lot of room. They're not loud, nothing like that. So that was a breed that I think is kind of a gateway.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the long and the short of our story. And so please drop us an email.
Yeah.
If you have anything that you'd really like to talk to us about. But for episode, I think we're probably going to be ending for episode 1 here, talking about our story. Episode 2, come back. We're going to go more in depth into the farm, the small farm market or farm to table market, how we market animals and vegetables and stuff like that. But I do want to end every episode with something happening agricultural in the news right now. And the biggest thing that's come to light for me right now is the fact that on June the 11th of 2023, the FDA is implementing a policy that you'll no longer be able to get livestock antibiotics.
Yes.
So you won't be able to get anything, Tylenol, any kind of antibiotic, even penicillin. Penicillin, like the most basic thing out there, penicillin.
Yeah.
You will not be able to get it without having a vet prescription, which means you won't be able to buy any of these items at like Tractor Supply or your local feed store or anything like that. You're going to have to go to a pharmacist.
Tractor Supply has already pulled some things off the shelf.
Yep, and they've already discovered that they're, when they go to order back supply, they're not going to send them the supply
they're not getting
of anything back. Guys, this is a very detrimental thing.
Yes.
To the livestock world. I want to put it in terms so that someone who's not around the livestock world can understand this. So say you as an individual, say you get the common cold and you just want to pick up some Dayquil, NyQuil,
something to help you with your
something
symptoms.
like that. You won't be able to get it.
They don't sell it anymore.
Yeah, they won't sell it to you at all.
Yeah.
You can't get it without going to a doctor. You can't pick up regular Tylenol or ibuprofen or anything like that. Any just over-the-counter drug, you won't be able to pick up. So this is really going to turn...
Cough drops if you have a cough.
Cough drop.
Nothing.
They consider it an antibiotic. That you won't be able to get it. So that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. Just, I mean, basic over-the-counter medicine. You know, and... by implementing this, what they are doing is they are taking the small farmers out of being able to produce anything. Or we are going to make livestock way sicker. So we're going to be suffering losses, like the fittest will survive.
Yep.
Things along that line. We won't be able to administer any kind of anything to make them comfortable, to help with fever, to help with any kind of pain or anything like that. And I'm not getting in the realm of, and we're not even going to talk about that, about, you know, do animals have feelings and stuff like that. We're not here to talk about that, because this is just things that help you produce the animal and make them happy, you know.
So I got a question. You know, they're taking all that off, the medications. Are they like going to take the wormers, dog wormers?
Yep, they're going to take all that away too. All your Ivamex, your safeguards, all those kind of wormers, they're going to disappear also. So we will actually have unhealthy, unless you're willing to pay that money to a veterinarian in order to go to only one place and get the drug. So what are they going to do? They're going to then have a monopoly on it, and they're going to exploit all of us small farmers and producers. And that doesn't set right with me, guys. And I don't know if it doesn't set right with you, but I am going to have a call to action here, because I'm going to write my senators and lawmakers about it, because it's not right.
No, it is not right at all.
It is not right at all. If the pandemic has taught us anything, it's the fact that commercial food operations, depending on 2 to 3 suppliers of our proteins, is an extremely frail way of doing things.
Yes.
I mean, that supply chain completely stopped during that pandemic. And if it wasn't for small farmers and farm-to-table markets and being able to supply people with that, no one would have anything to eat there. So it's just another way that they're trying to do away with the small operations. And I'm for one, I'm not going to deal with it. We will start looking for alternative, all natural ways of treating things. It's not like we have sick animals around here.
No. But it does happen from time to time.
It does happen. I mean, So, again, call to action. If that's something that upsets you, reach out. I mean,
reach out to your senators.
All you got to do is Google who's my senator and put in your area, and it will come up on a Google search along with their email address, and drop them an email, or even drop them a snail mail letter about it, and express your feelings about it.
Because if we don't make some noise about this and just sit down and let it happen, they're just going to do
Yep.
take all the rights away, guys.
The problem is people bring up the fact, well, those representatives have to be coming from rural areas and farmers and stuff like that. Yes, they are out there, and yes, they did speak up opposed to this, but guys, were outnumbered.
Yep.
Yeah, we are outnumbered by very large populations that have that get way more representatives in the Senate and the House than what rural areas do. And I'm not making this political, I'm just stating a fact. Yeah. And those people are very misinformed or drawn away from reality when it comes to this kind of stuff. But, alright, so next time, make sure to tune in, episode 2. We're going to start doing this and dropping a podcast every Wednesday. From this point going forward, every Wednesday we're going to drop a podcast. You can find it on YouTube Music. You can refer to our YouTube channel. There is a playlist on our YouTube channel, a podcast. There's already 2 populated in there, and they're not really podcasts, but they were videos that are in this kind of format where we sit down and we talk to you. One's about hanging weight when it comes to what does hanging weight mean for those of you
when we sell our
selling pork and stuff like that. The other one is about our $5 pantry challenge, trying to help you with your food security.
Yeah.
So until next time, I tell you guys this: farm on. Keep strong.
We love you.
And so does God.
And so does God.
See you all next time.
Bye.